My Gentiles, welcome back to the channel. We have a good show tonight. I got better lighting so we can see the looks maxing progress as it goes on. Tonight we're going to be talking about the 2026 official meta to ruin your children. There's a lot of ways to do it. It's pretty easy, I think. But this is the meta of how you ruin your children. We got 5 ways to do it. Okay, 5 ways to ruin your children. Top 5 ways to ruin your children in 2026, and by extension, make the country worse. Because that's how it works. You know, you mess up uh, the succession of the generations, and all of a sudden you have a country that's beyond repair. So I think we're just gonna get right into it tonight. I'm gonna try and keep this relatively short. Number one. Okay, this is a pretty big one. Internet access. Okay, giving your children access to the internet is probably the worst thing you can do. Maybe not the worst thing, but it's up there. It made my top 5. That means it's pretty bad. What you're really doing when you're giving uh, your kids access to the internet is you're giving the entire planet access to brainwash your child. That's what it really is. It's a brainwashing, uh, moral corruption machine. That's what the internet is. Okay, what were kids doing before the internet? All right, they were playing outside, hitting each other with sticks. They liked guns. Okay, they weren't degenerate. Now what are the kids doing? They're watching brain rot slop, frying their minds completely. They're all gooners. All your kids are gooning. Okay, every single one of them. You don't think your kids are gooning? Your kids are gooning. Okay, your kids are all gooners. They're all degenerate. It's over for all of them. 99% of your children, it's over. Okay, it's too late. Social media, get your kids off social media immediately. It's the worst thing ever because if your kids aren't with it already when they're on social media, they're gonna get just taken away immediately by every progressive, every lib slop, every atheist propaganda. They're gonna be gone immediately. Okay, keep your kids off social media. Every study they do, okay, every study, every survey is coming back. Social media is bad for development. There's no reason your kids need to be on social media. Okay, give your kids a gun, a stick, and push them out the door. Okay, that's what you need to do. You need to actually, interact with your own children. You can't just push them onto the internet because now you have 4-year-olds in a restaurant just smashing their fingers into an iPad, getting in everybody's way, not paying attention to anything. How do you think kids get kidnapped all the time? It's because their dumb parents give them an iPad and then forget they exist for the whole week. Okay, so they can watch Netflix and like just do whatever slop they do. So they can go walk around Target and go eat at the food court in the mall. Okay, pay attention to your kids and don't let your kids just wander off on the internet. That's the main propaganda tool. That's the main way that they're getting access to your children and just completely corrupting their entire brain is with the internet. And it's with social media. Have you seen the typical Netflix original anymore? It's terrible. Okay, you give your kids an iPad with Netflix on it, then they're watching They're watching some propaganda third worldist cartoon about how great Buddhism is. This is real stuff. They're watching a Jurassic Park cartoon, and boom, lesbians! Lesbians in the Jurassic Park cartoon. That's what you're giving your children. Okay, you need to get your kids off Netflix immediately. And the brain rot. The brain rot is never ending. Okay, all these like dumb memes and things. Like every generation, my generation had what would now be considered brain rot, but it wasn't at all the same. The brain rot of like 10, 15 years ago is nothing like what it is today. Okay, now uh, when some 6-year-old watches Skibbity Toilet, okay, it's not just like a crazy internet video they watch and then like they talk about it at school with their friends. It's everywhere. Like they're making merchandise for Skibbity Toilet. Does nobody think this is a problem? They're making merchandise for Poppy's Playtime and Has Been Hotel. Okay, have you heard about what happens in Has Been Hotel? Like like it's terrible. It's blasphemous. It's like it's maybe Gnostic. Okay, it's maybe kind of Gnostic. It's completely terrible, and that's what the kids are watching. The kids are watching complete uh, just slop. It's anti-Christian. It's anti-American. It's anti-Western. It's all meant to push this third worldist Eastern agenda. It's terrible. It's all pagan. Keep your kids off the internet. It's not difficult. It's really not that hard. Just don't buy your kids an iPad and they're fine. Okay, but moving on. Number 2 is sending your kids to the public government school. Do not send your kids to the government school in 2026. That's like the worst thing ever. You wonder why Gen Z has such high rates of liberalism, feminism, anti-Christianity. Um, they hate their race, they hate their culture, they hate their gender. It's because you're sending them to public school. It's why they don't have any concept of history. It's why they don't know how to read. It's why they can't do math or write. It's why the entire population is becoming dumb and illiterate. Is because you're sending your kids to public school. There's a very small minority of kids that are gonna come out of public school with any sort of education. That's just the reality. You have to homeschool your kids or else it's over. If you don't homeschool or private school your kids, it's over. Okay, and private school is really the bare minimum. It's barely better. It has to be homeschool. Okay, you need to get yourself actually educated. Okay, stop being an idiot. Stop being a useless idiot and scrolling on your phone all day. All right, learn something. Learn something useful. Learn a skill. Learn a skill. Learn about what's happening in the world. Learn basic skills and then teach your own children. That's how it always was. Okay, it was either you're teaching your own children or your small, close community is teaching your children. Now it's the federal and state government teaching your children liberal anti-Western ideology, and it's why all the kids are fried. It's why they're all liberals. It's really the public schools. They have transgender teachers now. There's been multiple teachers just in the district that I live in that there's transgender teachers, multiple in the district. People that would have been locked in an asylum, chained up in a padded room less than 100 years ago are now allowed to teach a classroom of kids. And you can say, oh, well, as long as they're a good teacher, as long as they're a good teacher, I don't care about what they do. You're the problem. People like you are the problem. It's this like nonsense, uh, middle ground fence sitter position where all you care about, oh, well, if they can teach my kids math. It's like, no, that's not real. That doesn't exist. Okay, it's a complete fantasy, it's a complete cope. It's not real at all. Okay, these people will every single time corrupt your children. Every single time, without fail, they will. Okay, just look at history. Just look at like recent history in this country. How did it start? It started when gay people just wanted to be accepted. The gays just wanted to stop getting beat up. It's like, okay, we'll stop beating up the gays. Now the gays want to get legally married. They want to have marriage just like a straight couple can. And then it was like, okay, we'll give them legal marriage. And then the floodgates were open. It was too late. It was over right at that moment. Because now you have transgenders. And they started off, oh, I just don't feel comfortable in my own body. And where are we at now? Now they want to be uh in the girls' locker room, in the girls' bathroom. Now they wanna have drag queen story hour. It never ends with these people. That's what's being allowed for teachers. It's allowed now. You can just do that. History classes in public schools are a complete joke. It's a complete joke. It's a complete fabrication. It's complete nonsense. Okay, look into whose dad wrote the look into whose dad owns the publishing company for the textbooks. Okay, look who owns the textbooks. Look who's writing the curriculum. Look at where it's all pointing. Okay, they teach that Andrew Jackson was this huge villain, complete, just terrible tyrant villain who needed to be stopped and obliterated immediately because, oh, what did he do? He committed the crime of stopping the central banking system. Let's see. Let's think about this for a second. Who would want the man responsible for attacking the central banking system to be portrayed as this huge, unreasonable tyrant villain? Think about that one for just a few seconds, and you can probably figure it out if you're not an idiot. Or um, how the colonialists that came from Europe and they made the 13 colonies in America. They destroyed the pagan, warmongering, savage, backwards natives and built our entire civilization. They want you to think that these people are evil. They want you to think that these people are like evil, tyrant whites that just destroy everything. Or they'll harp on slavery for the whole semester. That's all you hear about is slavery. You take a US history class, it's like all about slavery. Okay, US history is the evil colonizers from Europe destroyed the innocent natives, and then the white people did slavery, and then the white people were just evil forever, and then the white people were racist. That's what it is. That's what they're teaching in the public school system for US history. The literacy rates are terrible. Okay, go to your average high school, see how many of them can read. It's very few. Okay, anybody who's been to a high school knows this. Nobody can read. Okay, in my whole time in high school, all 4 years, we didn't read a single book. In any of the literature classes, we didn't read a single book. We didn't read books in literature class. What is even the point? What is even the point of that? Okay, they're not teaching anyone to read. They're not teaching anyone to write. Unless you do it yourself, your kids are not going to learn. Okay, that's just what it is. Unless you yourself can teach your own children how to read and write in the language of the country, they're never going to learn. They're never going to read a book because the public schools don't read books anymore because all the books are banned for complete nonsense reasons. You can't read about anything that might make you think. But then you can read about like some uh, like gay couple sodomizing each other in the school library. Are we serious? Is this real? Is this America? I thought this was a Christian country. What happened? That's what I thought we were doing here. Looks like that's not the case. It's really terrible. It's actually the worst thing ever. The public school system in America is completely subverted. It's completely subverted. It's all the way backwards. It doesn't teach anybody anything. It makes everybody stupider. It pushes liberal ideologies. Um, White people bad. Brown and black people are the victim of everything. They can do no harm. Feminism, gender ideology, that's all allowed there. Okay. Teachers have like BLM flags and gay pride flags up in their classroom now. That's what's acceptable. It's completely ridiculous. And don't even get me started. If you're in a like minority white district, it's even worse. Okay, they're going to be smoking weed, they're fighting, they're stealing stuff, they're getting STDs. It's actually like the typical fundamentalist uh like Christian propaganda of what public school is. Like that's real. Like that's actually happening in a lot of the schools now. I would say especially in minority white districts. It's even worse. Okay, check your demographics, people. Check your demographics. And don't send your kids to public school. Homeschool your kids. Number 3 is secularism. You could argue that secularism is behind all of this. Okay, as soon as the Western society threw away God, that was it. As soon as the Western European society was no longer centered around Jesus Christ, it was over. That's where all the problems started. It really is. And if you're a religious parent and you have this attitude of, "Oh, I would never push my religion on my children. That's their own choice to make." You're an idiot. You're actually an idiot, and you're not serious. You're not a serious person. You're not taking it seriously enough. Okay, you need to push your religion on your children. It needs to happen. Okay, religion cannot be this just kind of optional thing that you allow your children to opt into. It needs to just be taught as a reality because that's what it is. It is a reality. There is a God, there is sin, there is heaven and hell, and it's up to you. As long as your children are, under your authority, you're like very responsible for where they end up. You're very responsible for the religion of your own children. So you can't be secular and you can't be this like functionally secular religious parent. You need to actually know about your religion. You have to take your religion seriously because that's the only way your children are ever going to take it seriously. Now, maybe there could be some exceptions, like maybe like someone could be religious despite their parents, but that's really what it is. Studies show they've done research on this, and it shows that in households with a father that is serious about their religion and actively practices, both their wife and children are like multiple times more likely to continue practicing that religion. If just the mother is the main practitioner of the religion, it increases a little bit, but not that much. It has to, like, it really needs to be the father. And if it's neither parents, if it's neither parent, it's just kind of over. Like, there's a pretty low chance that it's going to be passed on. And when I say religion, I don't mean any religion. Okay, it can't just be any religion, because if you have like a serious Muslim household, that's like probably worse than secular. No, it needs to be Catholic. That's the only option. It needs to be Catholic. Everything else is just kind of nonsense. It really is. It really is just kind of nonsense. It has to be Catholic. That's the only one that's not completely subverted. Okay, this nation was built by Protestants. They've all been subverted. They've all been broken down and schismed until it's just not even relevant anymore. How many Methodist churches, how many Lutheran, uh, Presbyterian churches do you see all over the place? But when do you actually hear about them doing anything? The only time I've heard about any of them doing anything is when it's attached to the Catholics doing it. Okay, Protestants were pro-choice before the Catholics started the pro-life movement. Okay, Protestants have been subverted for a long time. They've lost all their institutional credibility. They have no power. They have no influence. Nobody cares. It doesn't exist. It has to be Catholic. It's the only institution that can do anything. But yeah, you have to teach your kids religion. You have to make your kids Catholic. You have to be Catholic and then make your kids Catholic if you want them to not be completely eaten by secular society. That's just what it is. It's just objective. Because, if you want your kids to even have like a basic sense of morality, they have to be Christian. There's just no way around it. Okay, if you're gonna let your kids be secular, they're gonna they're gonna they're gonna go do everything. They're gonna go fornicate, they're gonna be sodomites, they're gonna be liberals, feminists, girl boss, simps. They're gonna be all of this nonsense because they have no actual morality. So they have to be Christian. And that means that as parents, you have to be Christian. Not just like, not just like you go to church on Sunday and like you think the Bible is cool. You have to like act, that has to be your identity. Like you have to actually you have to know what you're talking about, first of all. You have to know what your faith actually is. Okay, it can't just be this vague concept. You actually have to know what you're talking about. You have to get educated on it. You have to practice it, uh, all the time, not just on Sunday. You have to teach your kids. I see this all the time, where you'll have these parents that are just like, they're just like kind of Sunday Christians. They just kind of like show up. They just go to church. They volunteer. They do all this stuff, but like at the end of the day, they really have no idea about anything. They don't know why they're Christian over anything else. They don't know like fundamentals of Christian doctrine. They couldn't explain to you basic levels of Christianity if you asked them to. They don't understand why there's an Old and New Testament. They don't understand any of it. They have no level of theological literacy. So it's really time to step up. We can't do this. We can't do this like low effort thing. You have to actually be all in on your religion. You have to be proud of your religion and want to make everybody else convert to your religion specifically. And when I say that, I mean Catholic. You have to care about being Catholic and then make everybody else be Catholic. You have to force your kids to be Catholic. Okay, drag your dumb goy children out of the house every Sunday by their hair and make them sit in the pew at Mass. And that's the other thing. Okay, that's the other thing too, is this like kids' church, like Sunday school. It's so nonsense. It's nonsense. Make your kids sit in real church. Okay, what are they learning in Sunday school? Nothing. They're playing games and eating candy. Make them sit in the Mass. Okay, and I don't know what they're doing in Catholic kids' church, but make your kids sit in the Mass. Okay, it's not that hard. Raise your kids in the liturgy. Don't be secular. That's nonsense. Secularism is a huge dead end. Okay, there's nowhere to go with it. Secularism never built an empire. You know it did. You know it built like the longest lasting empire ever? Catholicism. Catholicism is the empire. Okay. Old Testament proto-Christianity destroyed all the pagans and built an empire. And then after that it became Catholicism. Destroyed all the pagans, conquered everything and everywhere, and it is the empire. Okay, it is the empire. The Pope is the king. Long live the king, Pope Leo the 14th. Secularism is a dead end. Paganism is a dead end too. Who's pagan? Who's pagan anymore? Who's pagan? What even is paganism? Who cares? The old gods are dead. Okay, you have all these neo-pagan LARPers on Twitter. Like, oh, if I was in charge, I'd put an Odin shrine on every corner. Your religion doesn't exist. Okay, the Catholic, the Catholics already like genocided your people and mass converted your entire civilization. That doesn't exist. The Norse pagans are dead. The Norse pagans are dead. They're all Catholic now. They're all Catholic. All your great, oh, but my Viking warriors, my Vikings, my Vikings. They're all Catholic. All the Vikings are Catholic. What are you talking about? Okay, they fought, the Vikings fought monasteries and lost. That's just what it is. Paganism is stupid. Okay, look at like the Mayans, the Aztecs that like sacrifice people at the top of the temple to make their corn grow bigger or something, or make the rain better. Complete dead end. They got obliterated by the Spanish. Obliterated by the Spanish. It wasn't even close. Okay, the pagans in America that are running around in loincloths with a hatchet, scalping each other and like chewing on buffalo bones, massacred, completely demolished by by the Western Christians, by the Western European Christians, and then re-educated by Catholic schools. Secularism and paganism are both dead ends. Not even close. Number 4. Here we go. This is a spicy one. This is a spicy one right here. Everybody defends this. Everybody has some sort of cope to try and say, oh, but it's actually not bad when I do it. I had a really good reason. Divorce and remarriage. If you want to ruin your children, get divorced and remarried a bunch of times. Nothing will do it faster than that, I'm telling you. All the numbers show it. Basic logic shows it. Okay, what do you think, what do you think happens to a kid when like their parents get into like this huge, like disgusting divorce and then like both marry people that aren't their parents? It's like give me one logical argument why that would ever be a good thing. It's impossible. You can't do it. And then not only do you break up that relationship between the child's parents, but then you also introduce some stranger that's supposed to like fill in now or something. That's supposed to like like represent that like half of their parental structure that's just like thrown away? I don't think so. I don't think that's how it works actually. Okay, scripture teaches this, the church teaches this. Divorce and remarriage are always bad. Psychology shows this is true. The numbers don't lie. Okay, single parent households are a statistics farm for degeneracy, for uh for crime rates, incarceration, sexual perversion. It's completely terrible. Divorced households, single parent households are terrible for your children. Never do this. Okay, pick right the first time, get it together. There's no excuse. Okay, this is a result of secularism. This is what happens when you take the church out of your society. This is what happens when you throw God away. Is the divorce rate is like 60%, like 50 or 60%. No fault divorce. Um, Whoring around before you get married results in more divorce. It's completely backwards. It's completely barbaric and degenerate. And there's no excuse for it. Okay, as a society, it needs to change immediately. You know, everybody wants to talk about, oh, but doesn't the Catholic Church not allow divorce? No, because God doesn't allow divorce, actually. It's like, show me in the New Testament where divorce is ever permitted. It isn't there. It isn't there a single time. It says here that divorce is acceptable now, though, if there's adultery. It's like, yeah, actually, not really. It actually doesn't say that. Okay, the earliest Christian traditions don't say that that's ever acceptable. And even if we're going to grant that for the sake of the argument, like even if you're going to grant divorce is acceptable in cases of adultery, remarriage is still always, that's still just a flat no on that one. Like that's still just an absolute prohibition on that. So, everybody's going to cope. Infinite cope about the divorce, infinite cope about divorce and remarriage prohibitions. But it is absolute. It is ancient. The cope is not going to be tolerated. Pick right the first time. Practice chastity before you get married. And don't participate in this degenerate filth that ruins families, destroys households, ruins children. Nothing ever good comes out of it. Oh, but my marriage was really abusive, and then when I got remarried, it was better. Don't care. Don't care at all. Completely irrelevant to me. Remarriage is never acceptable. If you have to, like, if you absolutely have to for your safety, be separated. Fine, be separated. That doesn't dissolve your marriage. Okay, I don't know where this idea comes from. You can just, oh, I'll just get divorced and then remarry because that's easier. Cope. Cope. Huge cope. Scripture doesn't teach that. You're making it up. It's secular. It's satanic. It's demonic. Completely disgusting. No tolerance for that. Not going to hear the cope. I don't want to hear the cope. Okay, no more coping on this one. I don't want to hear it at all. I don't care. You don't have a good reason actually to get remarried. That's my position. If anyone has a problem with that, cry about it. I really don't care. I don't want to hear it. Number 5, the last one, being passive. Okay, the passivity is disgusting. I've touched on this a little bit um, in the topic about internet, but we're going to expand it here. When parents are passive about just kind of everything, You don't know you don't know the political issues, you don't know the social issues, you don't know or care that much about your religion. You're not proud of your heritage, your culture, or your race. You don't have pride in anything. You don't care that much about your identity or your nation. It's like, what do you care about? Like, what do you actually care about at that point? There's kind of nothing left. Like you care about like your slop. You care about like scrolling on your slop all day. It's really terrible. It's really a huge tragedy that most parents are just completely passive about everything. And part of it, maybe part of it's not, their fault. I would say that it is. You should be better. There's really no excuse to be a lazy idiot. You got to lock in. Okay, it's time to lock in actually. Millions of foreigners are invading your country every year. Feminism is ruining society. Girl bossing is ruining society. Secularism is ruining society. Paganism, false religions, secularism, gender ideology, all of this is ruining society. And you kind of just don't care. You just kind of go to work, scroll your brain rot on like Instagram or Facebook or something. You watch an AI video, but you don't know anything. You have no idea the world that you're sending your kids into with no preparation at all. If this is you, you have no idea why all the other stuff on the list is even bad in the first place. Because you're not thinking. You're not a thinking person. If you can't look at the other four things on the list and just like know exactly why it's bad already, then you're number five. Number five is you if you can't tell me why the other four items on the list are bad. These lazy idiot parents are the reason that they're raising lazy idiot children that are going to be more lazy idiot parents. And the cycle continues until somebody finally locks in and figures out their life and what's happening around them for once. Don't be passive with your children. Engage with the world, engage with your children, know what's going on, teach it to your kids, and prepare them for it. If you can do that, if you make that your goal, knowing what's happening and preparing your kids for it, and teach them how to also know what's happening and how to stay prepared, then you really shouldn't have any issue with the whole list. It should kind of just fall into place. If you're Catholic and you care about the world that's happening, if you care about something outside of your own day-to-day existence, then I mean, this shouldn't be that difficult for you. But I think that's the segment. That's a pretty good segment. I think we did pretty good on that one. 38 minutes. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. It's 9:21. We might do there's like a stack there's a growing stack of Trent Horn videos I want to react to. So we might get into like one of those. Let me look at my let me look at what's happening. Let me look at my phone. Let me scroll some stop on my phone real quick. No, I'm gonna check because I post the streams on my story. I need to do it sooner so more people can get on. Um, Let's see. Yeah, so I'm gonna check my story, see how that's doing. I just got on Facebook. It's pretty bad. It's pretty cool. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I post my Facebook story as a post. I wonder if that would be any better. Let's see, does the link still work though? The link does not still work. Let's see, how do I add a link? What if I just like throw the link on the title? Just throw the link on the title. Just throw the link on the title and see if it goes. It does. It does go. If you just throw the link on the title, it works. So that's pretty cool. I'll remember that. The website. I mentioned the website on the way in the last stream. It's been slow progress. I'm learning the software to put it together. But I think I'm gonna start doing articles on there. I think I could probably turn like some of the topics from the stream into articles, and then just kind of like stack my content. Because if I do the streams and then record the segments and then post them as videos, and then I do articles on the same topics, it's just kind of like stacking content, and then I just post all of it everywhere. That could be, that could be a strategy. I don't know. I have no idea. But it's time to lock in. It's time to like get serious about stuff. So I'm gonna do the content stuff. I have my regular job, and then I'm gonna boost my welding stuff somehow. I don't know how to do that. I'll figure that out. But yeah, that's the strategy. We're gonna be ascending. Okay, 2026 is the beginning of the ascension. Okay, we're gonna go from broke and chopped to rich and full of aura and motion and looks maxing. That's what it's gonna be, starting in 2026. Okay, we're gonna be ascending. I just got registered for OCIA today, so truly is the beginning of the ascension. It's gonna be so good. It really is. It's gonna be the best. All right, let's get on YouTube. I think I'll only do one more segment on here. We'll probably watch one of these Trent Horn videos.
Fellas, my
Okay, why is that stuck?
brothers.
Yeah, be quiet. Be quiet. Silence. Silence, media player. We got some good stuff. We had the Nick Fuentes interview with Hunter Biden. It was actually kind of mid, to be honest. It wasn't that great. It was, before it dropped, there was rumors that they were going to be like fighting or something. That didn't happen. It barely got heated. So that was pretty. I probably won't even react to it because it's just like, it's nothing that we haven't seen before. Okay, so next three reaction segments, or next few reaction segments, are going to be like some Trent Horn and then this video about Boomer AI slop that I found. And then Ben Shapiro had a show with Patrick Bet-David. That's got to be good. I think we'll do this. I think this came out today, actually. This Trent Horn video.
On July 18th, Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan were arrested in Miami.
All right, the audio is working. All right, he dropped this video today. Yeah, 12 hours ago. It's called Christians Stop Praising Andrew Tate, which is true. Christians should not be praising Andrew Tate. But at the same time, I think it's kind of necessary. Hold on, we gotta record. So, Trent Horn dropped this video called Christians Stop Praising Andrew Tate, which is true. We can't be praising Andrew Tate, but at the same time, he's also necessary. He was very necessary in really opening the floodgates to revealing this, like, a lot of this modern woman stuff, like the girl bossing, the feminism, the promiscuity, the what is it? I don't know. I forget the words, but all this stuff. And it was really opening the floodgates to that. So I think Andrew Tate was necessary. Do I think he's necessary now? Probably not. I think everybody knows. Everybody who doesn't know about women in 2026 is just kind of an idiot. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what this is about. We'll get into this. Let's see what. And I will say this. Okay, I will say this. I like Trent Horn. Okay, Trent Horn is one of my favorite guys. Probably in Catholic YouTube. Like like he's definitely like top 7. He's like top 7 or 8. He has some good apologetics, but I mean, he's not based. He would say that's a good thing. I would say it's not compelling. It's not a lot of hot takes. It's not, he's not a guy you can get fired up for. You know what I mean? It's like, who's getting excited about Trent Horn? Not a lot of people. So we'll get into this and see what's going on.
On July 18th, Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan were arrested in Miami on charges related to rape, sex trafficking, assault, and possessing indecent images of a child, and are currently in the process of being extradited to the United Kingdom for prosecution, which includes a bond hearing scheduled for tomorrow, August 13th. And in today's episode, I have a simple request for prominent Christian commenters. Stop praising Andrew Tate. Seriously, I have no idea why these self-professed Christians praise the Tate brothers and downplay both their alleged legal crimes and their undeniable moral crimes. For example, here's Candace Owens sitting down with Andrew Tate in an interview a year ago.
I do also want to, in closing, commend.
Stop saying that Candace is one of us. Candace Owens is not a person, okay? Candace Owens is not one of us. She's completely insane. You can't use the words of Candace Owens to condemn us, okay? You can't do it. All right, just because she's kind of like on that like wild far right, you can't throw us all in with Candace. Even though Candace does have the candy, you can't just put us all in the same category because she's a complete lunatic. So let's see what Psycho Candace has to say.
You on something which was so crazy. So there was this person who was doing like a bunch of digital content. I thought his content was amazing, got into touch. I mean, figured out this is like a young school kid, like basically essentially like 20 years old, like just turned 20 years old. And I'm like, dude, you're a hustler. Like, where did you learn how to do all of this stuff? Like, I'm going to hire you. I genuinely don't even know what Hustler University is, but I know that that kid is 10 times more effective than people that are coming out of with college degrees right now.
So ace journalist Candace Owens doesn't bother to do 5 minutes of research on Hustler University, now called Real World, before sitting down with Tate. If she had, she would have found out that the program is a money-making scheme that offers overpriced courses on things like writing marketing emails.
Okay, like, so what? It's like Candace is an idiot. Candace is an idiot that doesn't do research. This isn't new. We already knew this. We already knew this, Trent. So we're not off to a good start here. Okay, I'll just say that. Like, argument one is Candace is an idiot. Argument number one, opening strategy, Candace is stupid. Did we know this? Did anyone know that Candace Owens is stupid? So yeah, Trent, we did actually know that Candace Owens is an idiot that doesn't do any research. And also, she just likes white guys. Candace Owens just likes white guys, okay? She's married to a white guy. She's obsessed with Nick Fuentes. And Andrew Tate's brown. But I mean, like, he's kind of white enough, I guess. He's not, like, super brown all the time. He's super brown. But I mean, like, I could see how he could pass sometimes. But I think that's really what it is. I think Andrew Tate's, like, pretty much completely right about women. And Candace Owens is just, like, in line with the standard. She's just in line with what we expect. She's a, like, extra dumb woman. It's like, I think she's just falling for Andrew Tate's riz. She's just getting mogged by Andrew Tate. That's really what it is.
You can get for free elsewhere. And Owens would have also seen that before Hustlers University was founded in 2021, Tate was selling his PhD program in 2018, which stands for Pimp and Hose degree.
And I've got a
So based.
PhD.
Explain PhD briefly, if you don't mind.
A Pimp and Hose degree.
That's cool. That's cool. You want me to be mad at this guy for the Pimp and Hose degree? You want me to be upset at that? That's cool. And that's funny. Okay, you can't make me hate this guy over this.
A doctorate.
It's well known that
That's
Andrew
cool.
Tate made his fortune using girls to create pornography for him, to get the girls to work for him, and to give him the money they make.
He did. He ran like a huge like OnlyFans operation, and that's disgusting. Or maybe not OnlyFans. It was like cam sites or something. Something along those degenerate lines. Which is disgusting. Obviously, I don't approve of that. So, it's like, I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. You know, I think you can hate this one thing that he does, and also think it's cool that he has mansions and cars and all this going on at the same time. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can't actually pick and choose here.
He used a technique called the lover boy method to emotionally manipulate women, which is classic.
Did he though? Did did he really? It's like I'm starting to kind of like question how real that actually is. Because, like you can say all you want, but like how many dumb whore women are just falling over themselves for these like rich scumbags. It's like there's no manipulation needed. They're already there. They're already completely degenerate. They're already on board. Zero manipulation needed. So is it really his fault? It's like, is it his fault that these Miami whores are degenerates? I don't think so.
Pimp behavior and is often used in human trafficking. Tate's elite forum called the War Room included members sharing tips on how to make women vulnerable, like this one that says, after that, it becomes a series of gradual steps to remove her entire support structure from her life. Then we punish her for a transgression, real or imagined, by having her get our name tattooed on her, leaving her family's home, apartment, town, country, webcamming, stripping, walking the track for us, getting us girls.
Sort of like isolating them from the friendship. It's not actually that difficult to do. And people will call it manipulation, but what you're really doing is putting the pieces on the chessboard in the best place for you to win. You're the one playing the game.
And here's Andrew's brother.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Yeah, you can't, that's kind of a crazy thing to say. But, I don't know. That's bad, obviously. I don't agree with that. But yeah, he's a degenerate with ties to the Russian mob and Russian government. It's like, that's not cool. He's a degenerate guy. But also money and cars. Also money and cars. The whole world hates him. That's cool. It's like, I don't know. He has motion. You can say what you want, but he has motion, and that's cool. It's like you can think he has motion without thinking he's a good person. Okay, we've already established this, I think, but that's what I mean. Trent's not very based. He's pretty generic guy, which is fine. But I really don't think he gets it. For as much as Trent Horn likes to talk about, the far right and based groypers being mean and evil, I really don't think he gets it at all. Like he can't comprehend the concept. He doesn't understand what we're even talking about.
Tristan revealing how he kept the girls dependent on him by locking them out of the money they made, which is once again pimp behavior.
I went to the room, smashed the room up, told her I knew what she did. She sent me all the money, but that has happened to me before. Let them take full control over their accounts. They will run away. I like to keep the girls' passwords. I log them in and log them out. If you give the girl the password to her account, there's a chance she could run away and try it by herself. I've had that happen.
And if you're ride or die and you're a chick and you really love us, what's the problem with getting...
That's super telling right there. Okay, that kind of that kind of tells you all you need to know about some of the women he's dealing with. If they have the password to their account, they're going to run off and go cam by themselves. Yeah, they sound like a real victim. They sound like a real victim of manipulation, where they run off and go do the same thing to keep the money for themselves. It's like, yeah, I don't think so. This stuff like that is why I'm not sold on this like terrible manipulator, evil guy thing. Is because that's how they already are. They're already doing the cam stuff on their own anyway. He's just monopolizing it.
Making a bunch of money from home. What's the issue? Oh, someone to see your titties. You get your titties basically out on Instagram for free anyway.
True.
That's a question to all you guys at home. If you're interested in making a lot of money, this is how me and Andrew did it.
There's no secrets at all about how we made our money, gentlemen. That's how we did it. We were internet pimps.
So the Tates used and created an environment for others to use manipulation and coercion to pimp out women and put them in situations where they don't have control over their income, which can easily lead to trafficking if they're in a foreign country and are dependent on their employer. But here's what really irritates me. Candace Owens says things that lead her viewers to think Erica Kirk, a widow mourning the death of her murdered husband, that she was involved in human trafficking in Romania because Kirk supported an orphanage in Romania. and human trafficking happens in Romania, I guess. But Owens is also completely confident Andrew Tate is innocent of human trafficking, despite actual evidence pointing in that direction. In fact, just
Wait, hold on. Let's back up. Let's hear that part again. Did I catch that?
if they're in a foreign country and are dependent on their employer. But here's what really irritates me. Candace Owens says things that lead her viewers to think Erica Kirk, a widow mourning the death of her murdered husband, that she was involved in human trafficking in Romania because Kirk supported an orphanage in Romania and human trafficking happens in Romania, I guess. But Owens is also completely confident.
That's pretty crazy. I didn't hear about that one. That's pretty wild. But this is exactly what I mean. It's like, why are we even talking about Candace Owens? Like, that's why I think that Trent Horn really doesn't get it. Like, he really doesn't understand the far right. Because he's trying to use, like, stuff that Candace Owens is saying against Andrew Tate. It's like, who cares what... Does anyone actually care what Candace Owens says? She's a complete psycho. She's a complete idiot. She's insane. She's just a complete deranged schizophrenic. Okay, nobody is taking her seriously anymore. Keep up, Trent. Keep up, okay? We're not on the Candace train anymore. You're behind, and you're out of touch.
Andrew Tate is innocent of human trafficking, despite actual evidence pointing in that direction. In fact, just a few years ago, Nick Fuentes was able to honestly call out Andrew Tate for the awful person he is.
Andrew Tate is a pornographer. Like, let's just be very honest about what he is. Whatever you think of him, that's what he is. He's a pornographer. He makes porn. That's how he made his money. That's how he makes a living. He was a fighter. Fighters aren't worth $1 billion or $100 million, however much he's worth. Fighters don't, unless you're Floyd Mayweather, fighters don't make that kind of money. He made his money through pornography, which is like the definition of selling your soul to the devil. What do you think that means? He did something extremely immoral in exchange for money. But everybody needs to recognize, love him, hate him, that he's a pornographer and objectively a bad person. Objectively, he should be in jail.
But now Fuentes is posting things like free Andrew and Tristan Tate and calling their prosecution a humiliation for America.
So what is it about Andrew and Tristan Tate that makes them any different from every other man that has been accused under Me Too? How is this any different? This is the Me Too movement. They do the same thing to Donald Trump. They do the same thing to all these people. If you become a political target, you're accused of rape. If you become a high-profile political person on the right, and specifically someone on the right that is challenging the status quo, it's a sexual assault allegation. It's a rape allegation.
First, it's not true that everyone...
No. He's framing this like it's some sort of contradiction when it's really not. Okay. Fuentes rightly called out Andrew Tate for being for getting rich off of degenerate like campsite stuff, which is true. That's bad, obviously. But then also he's completely right. He got famous on the campsite stuff, but then he got rich off the campsite stuff, but then he got super famous about about his right wing stuff, about his red pill stuff, his talking about women, mostly talking about women being promiscuous and hypergamous. So then I think it's completely fair to say that he got sniped with this allegation, because realistically, like how many even more high profile and more influential people do the same thing and then never get called out for it. It's not until you're kind of threatening the establishment that you get sniped with this stuff. So it's completely true. And that just doesn't go with Trent's view of things, but it's just true. It's not a contradiction at all.
On the right who speaks against cultural evils or challenges the status quo is then falsely accused of sexual misconduct in order to smear them. As of this recording, Ron DeSantis hasn't been accused of sexual misconduct. Marco Rubio hasn't been accused of this. Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh haven't been accused of sexual misconduct. Nick Fuentes challenges the...
That's because they're all the establishment. These are all establishment people. Why would they get sniped with these accusations? They're falling in line exactly as they should be. What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, obviously. Oh, Ben Shapiro isn't getting sniped by his own establishment. Ben Shapiro and mainstream politicians aren't getting sniped with the with these allegations because they're falling in line. They are part of the system that's doing it. Ben Shapiro was a propagandist for Zionism. Why would he get sniped by this? Andrew Tate is threatening to the establishment. That's why they got him. That's why they went after him. That's just the reality of it. Okay, if you can't see that, I really don't know what to tell you.
Status quo, but nobody has accused him of sexual misconduct against women or even of sexual conduct with women in general, including moral conduct like being in a committed relationship. I'm not sure why, but in unrelated news, Fuentes has previously said that dating women is gay.
What, people calling me gay?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, dating in modern society is gay. Problem? That's just obviously true. What are you talking about? What's the issue there? How is it not? Explain to me how dating women explaining how dating women in the modern age isn't the gayest thing ever. Okay, do you see it all what happens? It's super gay. Have you ever seen guys in relationships? It's the gayest thing ever. The gayest guys ever are in straight relationships. It's completely disgusting. Fuentes is still right on that. Everybody throws this out. Nick Fuentes says that dating women is gay. Yeah, it just obviously is. What's your problem with that?
Because I've never had a girlfriend. I think if anything, it makes me less gay.
True.
Never having a girlfriend, never having sex with a woman, really makes you more heterosexual. Because honestly, dating women is gay.
Second, I'm not surprised
That's
people
just
might
true.
accuse Donald Trump of sexual misconduct because he said stuff like this in the past.
You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just like, I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the do anything.
It's true there are
He's right. Trump is completely right there. What's the issue? Yes, he's right. You can if you're rich, if you're a famous billionaire, you can do whatever you want. That's just what it is. The reason that they sniped Trump so hard with that is because he was a threat. He used to actually be a threat to the establishment. And now they leave him alone because he's been consumed. He's been corrupted, he's been subverted, he's been assimilated by the institutions, by the establishment. That's why they're not doing this stuff anymore. It's like that's why it's not a huge public outcry at Trump every day. Is because he's been assimilated. You know, he was back in his first election, he really, was a powerful force against the left and against the media. It's like he was really big in 2016 and in 2015. So he got sniped with this stuff all the time. You know, Trent Horn is acting like this is completely unreasonable to say that that people threatening the establishment get sniped with sexual assault allegations. It's just obvious. It's an obvious pattern. You see it all the time. It's like I really don't get what he's even talking about here. It's just not true.
baseless accusations that are made against famous people. But there are also well-founded accusations, and you can see the difference. In the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, for example, there was a political motive to disrupt an important Supreme Court nomination.
Hold on, that's bad. I need to hear that again. Hold on, I have to send a text out real quick.
There are also well-founded accusations, and you can see the difference.
Yeah, the accusations are well-founded because they're true. They're true like 9 out of 10 times. But why do you think you only hear about them on certain people? It's like, look at the Epstein files. It's everybody. They're all participating. They all have... There's people doing worse stuff than what Trump and Tate are being accused of. but you don't hear about it because they're participants. They're all the way in it. They're part of the establishment. It's the people that disobey. It's the people that step out of line that get sniped. This is just true. Everybody knows this.
In the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, for example, there was a political motive to disrupt an important Supreme Court nomination, and it involved a single claim of wrongdoing made decades later that could not even describe the location of the incident in question. But when it comes to Andrew Tate, we have multiple charges and even videos of Tate hitting women with belts and then later claiming all of this was consensual.
Say like
Okay, but what did they do? What did they really do? You know, what happened before the camera turned on? That's the question we got to ask ourselves. You know, nobody wants to ask that. No one wants to hear about that. You just hear about this part of it.
mean it. You say like you mean it. You message one other guy ever again, whether we're together or not again. You understand me?
But in spite of all of this, there are still self-professed Christians like Tucker.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, this happens all the time. This isn't new. This isn't an isolated incident. This is all your politicians. This is all your billionaires, all your CEOs. They're all doing this. They're all doing worse stuff than this. But you don't hear about it because they're in line with the establishment. You step out of line, you say something contradictory to the establishment, and you get sniped. It all gets released, and then you're being extradited and arrested and slandered everywhere. It's being published in all the media because you stepped out of line. That's what's happening.
Carlson, who praise Andrew Tate and say stuff like this.
Andrew Tate's core message is respect yourself. Act like you're worth something. Achieve something. Do something. Get the off the couch. Put down the porn. Like, go do something with your life.
Oh, sure. The guy who became rich making porn wants guys to put down porn.
Yeah, kinda. Yes, actually. I mean, on the surface, that is obviously contradictory, but it's also just true. It's like, he's being rich off gooning and telling people to stop gooning. It's like, who would know better that that's bad than the people running it? Okay, this is just kind of obvious, I think. I don't know. This is pretty weak. It's like we've heard all this stuff years ago. This isn't anything new.
And also imagine if Tucker Carlson was talking about the serpent in the garden. His core message is to gain knowledge. What could be wrong with that? Obviously, Tate isn't going to become popular unless he says some true motivational facts that you can easily get from other sources.
Just do it!
Thank you, Shia. But it's a failure of journalistic integrity to not expose the evils lying beneath the surface of popular.
Whoa, you can get motivational content from Shia LaBeouf, but wasn't he getting drunken in fights at Mardi Gras? Wasn't he just arrested not that long ago? What are you talking about, Trent? Can't you get that from somebody who's not in scandals all the time? Like, see what I mean? This is just kind of nonsense. This is why people get upset with Trent Horn, is because he makes content that's nonsense.
Figures. Now, I agree the phenomenon of Andrew Tate should be examined, and we should ask why so many young men are attracted to his message. The answer, as I've noted in previous episodes, is that men have been the victim of social biases for the past few decades. And what Tate says about self-reliance and personal responsibility are true and appealing. The problem is when people try to emulate Tate and build confidence not out of actually practiced virtue or by accomplishing a good others naturally respect, but through caricatures of masculinity, like this poor student doing his best Andrew Tate alpha shtick impression.
I am now the alpha.
What are we talking about? This this is okay. All right. I'm done. This is his example. Is this like this mentally ill teenager spazzing out and going haywire in class? This is the effect of Andrew Tate? Okay. I think that's enough of that. I really don't even want to finish the video because I think, I think if we kept going, it would just be more of the same, honestly. It's like, what could I say that hasn't already been said? What could Trent say that hasn't already been said? It's like this is just getting jester. It's really just jester maxing at this point. So I think that's it. I think that's where we're gonna end it off. It's getting kind of late. I have to work. I'm actually not a complete shot. I do have a job. So I'm gonna get off. I'll be back on tomorrow. Submit to Rome. Christ is King. Go pray a rosary. Turn off the